Hello everyone, I'm Ian Gibbons. I'm Professor of Food Chain Nutrition and also Director of the Institute for Food, Nutrition and Health at the University of Reading. Today I'm just going to say a few words to you about the importance of protein in the diet, and this is part of the Sports Park initiative to make sure that its members are fully up to date with all range of things in relation to healthy living at this difficult period of time that we're living in. So protein in the diet, why is it important? Well, it's needed in the body for all sorts of things, and we probably know more about why protein is needed in the body than we did maybe only 10, 15 years ago. But one of the key things that dietary protein is important for is for providing us with enough muscle on the skeleton. Skeletal muscle is really, really important for, again, like dietary protein, for more things than we probably realised, a relatively short time ago. Skeletal muscle, one of the things it does is act as a protector of the bone. So if somebody has a fall and they haven't got much skeletal muscle around the bone is more likely to break, and that's really, really important with elderly people, which I'll mention a bit more later. The other thing that skeletal muscle does is it acts as a regulator of blood glucose. And as I'm sure everyone knows, we're living in an era of increasing prevalence of type 2 diabetes, quite a rapid increase actually, and that means that many people don't have the ability to give adequate control to blood glucose, and so having enough muscle actually helps that enormously. Now, one of the issues we have at the minute, of course, is that with everybody working from home, that people are generally getting less exercise than they would normally do. And it's certainly worth making sure that we try and get as much exercise as we can within the limits of the current situation. Now, one of the things that is a fact, and a sad fact probably, is that everybody begins to lose muscle mass and muscle strength as they get older. And for many people, this starts in the mid-40s and gradually develops more rapidly, usually, as people get older, to the point where quite a number of people that are quite old have lost a lot of muscle, and this actually gives them a big disadvantage in terms of a number of things, in terms of protecting the bone, in terms of glucose regulation, etc., that I mentioned before. Now, there are things that we can try and do to reduce the rate at which muscle mass and muscle strength declines, and the two things we can do are exercise, particularly resistance exercise, and also make sure that we have enough dietary protein of adequate quality. And in fact, there is some evidence that consuming protein in the period after exercise, in the recovery period, actually gives you a bigger response in terms of the body's ability to produce muscle than if the two are done separately. So that's worth bearing in mind. It's not always as easy to do as you might think, but it's worth bearing in mind. So, what amount of protein should we be having? Well, the UK current requirements say that we should be consuming about 0.75 of a gram of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. And so for an 80 kilogram person, they should be consuming around about 60 grams of protein per day. Now, one of the issues, of course, is, I'm sure many people know, is that all proteins are not the same. There are high quality proteins, low quality proteins, medium quality proteins. And the quality is something we need to pay attention to, particularly in relation to this issue of trying to reduce muscle mass. And, there's quite good evidence now that the proteins from milk, particularly the whey protein, is one of the best, if not the best, protein for improving muscle development and reducing muscle mass. And so that's, again, worth bearing in mind. The other issue is that the protein requirement that I mentioned a minute ago, many people feel that that's actually too low. It should be nearer 0.8 or even 0.9 or even more grams per kilogram of body weight than we have at the minute. So I think I'll leave it there. The key issues are to make sure that we have enough exercise, that we have enough dietary protein of adequate quality at the right amount, and also, of course, one of the other issues in relation to all of this, particularly in relation to bone health, is the issue of vitamin D. And I mentioned vitamin D in a previous video that I did, so I'm not going to do it anymore tonight, but just to bear in mind that we do need to, in this current time, we need to be particularly careful about the amount of exercise we get, getting adequate exercise, the amount of protein we have and of adequate quality, and also having an adequate vitamin D status.